All right. So for our table of contents, we have our community and sponsor interactions in FRC. We have establishing a financial documentation in your team, and then you need to first establish the finance progress, and then ultimately having the way to implement it into your team. You need to plan for a competition season, and it's earlier than you would think. How you overall contact sponsors, staying organized, because that's always an important step in your team, whether it's in the robot aspect or in the financial aspect. Staying organized is important, and the importance of analyzing the fiscal budget. So I have a question for you guys. What was a recent outreach event that your team did? Does anyone have a recent outreach event that they did?
We were at an elementary school for their STEAM night, doing robot demonstrations.
Awesome. Do you know who you invited to the event? Did you post on social media? Did you officially go to your sponsors' businesses and say, hey, we would like you guys to come to the event? Or what methods do you guys use?
Most of the communication is done through the elementary schools.
Okay, awesome. So obviously these are some of our outreach events that we've done recently. So I believe it was about a month ago was our open house. We used social media. We posted a newsletter on our website, and then we also sent official invitations to sponsors for our open house event. We had a Girl Scout event where we reached out to local Girl Scouts in our community. We reached out to the council to get as many girls as we could involved in our Girl Scout robotics badge event, where girls would earn 3 robotics badges through the day, creating FLL MROC robots. And then we also have been implementing our FLL teams with constant communication with people from prior FLL teams, the people that would be interested, our FLL summer camp that we're going to be having soon, and just anyone that would really be interested through social media about FLL. So the importance of communication for community and sponsor interactions in FRC. Communication through FRC is an essential part towards the presentation and sustainability of your team. Your team should be viewed and displayed as if it were an actual business. An important part of growing relationships with your community and businesses is constantly communicating with them on how your team is doing throughout the season, regardless if it's the competition season or the preseason. Taking time out of the meeting to reach out to your sponsors and seeing how you're doing and how important it is, just having that relationship really deepens the trust and connection between the business and your team. Continuing to relay this information to members of your community provides them with the space to see FIRST in action and spark the interest to become involved in FIRST and possibly even your team. Communicating with this information can be done through newsletters, social media posts, flyers, and robot demonstrations. For our team, we constantly are practicing methods such as newsletters, social media, flyers in the community, etc., to be sure that we're able to reach as many individuals as possible in our community and beyond. Our team during the build season creates bi-weekly newsletters regarding updates on how the team has progressed during the time. There's obviously week 1 and week 2. We'll do a description on how we did during these weeks. Maybe we said how we wanted to go forward with the prototype and really how we're advancing as a team, not only just on the robot, but how as the team as a whole is working together. Many of our sponsors have expressed our interest in our newsletters and how they've said that the newsletters have been very helpful and beneficial to learning more about our team and our goals as a whole, while also being able to see, wow, this is what our team is doing currently right now, and this is what they plan to do in the future. This establishes more credibility for your team and the opportunity to grow your outreach initiatives through relationships around you. One recent opportunity our team was also able to do is a robot demonstration at one of our sponsors' businesses, and we actually would go to several different locations. At each new locations, we were able to talk with the employers that work there, and we were able to say, hey, this is what FIRST does. Now this is what we did and how can we work together to display the goals that we have and also that you have. It's really great to see the connection between the businesses and us to say, wow, we actually do something really similar between businesses. Being treated as a business by your community and your sponsors can create future opportunities regardless of your communication methods, even if it's through social media. It can lead to a long-term opportunity for your team. If you have that continued recognition of your team's success, you're able to build future leaders for your team and overall grow the message of your team. With any teams having outreach events in the future or any events that you may have, a goal really that you should be setting would to be invite your sponsors to your events. They really would honestly appreciate if you are going out of your way to contact them and say, hey, we're having this event. It would be amazing if you guys were to drop in, see our team, and really what we're doing. It's more than just robotics. We're having a whole team. We're inviting other teams, and now we're having this whole initiative set forward. So I also have another question for you guys. Can you raise your hand if you've heard of QuickBooks before? What are some things that you guys know about it? Not much?
Not much.
Not much? That's okay. Creating and especially establishing a financial process in your FRC team is especially important to the success and organization of your team. There are many systems that a team can use to create their financial process, but one that we regularly use is QuickBooks. QuickBooks is a financial bookkeeping system for businesses, mainly small businesses, that allow for you to track your expenses, create many different forms of budgets, and analyze your cash flow in and out of your team. A popular use of QuickBooks is the monthly and yearly financial reports that allow for a business to determine their progress throughout the year and make a path for your future goals. Our team uses QuickBooks to track every purchase that we make during a fiscal year and input invoices from our accounts receivables such as sponsors, but any fundraisers that you may have, and maybe team fees that you would have. Each meeting and after a purchase is made, our QuickBooks is updated to organize and track all of the team's purchases and further documenting it if an individual needs reimbursement. So let's say Kenneth would go make a purchase at Home Depot and he's putting it in QuickBooks. He puts in the description box that he would need reimbursement from the team for whatever he bought at Home Depot. Yeah.
Is your team set up as a 501c3, or do you have to work with like your school's accounting departments?
We do everything ourselves. We do not
So-
work with the,
We're a 501c3 through
Yeah.
the school.
yeah.
So it is, we are working through our school to get that 501c3.
Okay.
And we have QuickBooks for our team to keep our purchases organized in one place and creates a place ultimately to organize and construct our budget. Being able to see and analyze the balance sheets allows for us to see how the team is doing financially and just the future goals and steps we have for the team. In many of these reports that you're able to see, such as our fiscal budget, you are able to see where your income is coming from and all the different places your expenses are coming from. So if you see that one popular business is getting a lot of where you're spending from the team, you can make a note of that in your budget and allow for just a correct mindset going forward. Not that you think, oh, I don't really know if we spend a lot at this company, let's really not give it a budget, and then you end up spending a lot at that company. What do you guys have some financial practices that your team does, whether that be QuickBooks, or do you just use Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, Excel? Do you just use a Google Drive? Wanna hear you guys' thoughts?
We use a Google Drive.
A Google Drive?
And it's very messy. And it's also very limited as to who can go in and
Yeah.
edit it. And so I was wondering how Like, does everybody on your team have access to this, or if anybody
For
can,
QuickBooks or just our general financial practices?
any of it?
So for QuickBooks, it's really mainly the business team that has access to the QuickBooks account and login. And then it would be the finance lead and me that would say, Kenneth made a purchase at Home Depot, and we need to go input it on our system so it's allowed to track for. And then for our Excel and then Google Drive, anyone on the business team and anyone that has access to the Finance Drive folder has ultimately access to it. Really, it's the business team that edits or makes changes to anything in the Finance Drive, but anyone at any time from any sub-team, if they really want to go and see what's their budget, what's their weekly budget report, they are able at any time to go in the Google Drive. In our team, implementing our financial processes have been an important step in ensuring the continuation of a successful business team. Learning important financial skills such as budgeting, accounting, and Excel has been a key part of constructing a financial process that is organized and efficient for our team. One way that our team intertwines the financial process with the rest of our team is through the ordering process of supplies and materials. When the student from a sub-team needs to make a purchase, they need to fill out an order request form, which is seen right here. From there, students and mentors work together to create a list of parts or materials that they need at that time. Once that's completed, it is sent back to the business team where the order is placed and then ultimately inputted into QuickBooks. The sub-team then is still responsible for checking in with the business team to ensure where their order is and what time it will be arriving. Through this, the individuals across the team are able to be a part of a key step of the financial process and make decisions regarding whatever materials that they would be ordering. With the order placed, like right here, this student filled out a reimbursement request form that they're going to need reimbursement, but it's also saying that they made an order. So they ordered 3 materials, and then that order is ultimately sent to business where me or the finance lead will make that purchase, and then it is ordered, and then it is put into QuickBooks officially with the receipt, and we have all the receipts organized in one place. Even if it's a paper receipt, we're able to take a picture of it, and then it will track that we made this purchase today at Home Depot by Kenneth for this much, and it will be organized and stayed in QuickBooks. I just wanted to ask another question. What are some tasks or goals that you set for your team in the preseason? Like before a competition season, what is something that you want your team to either organize going forward or just a goal for your build season?
So this is gonna lead back to a question for you. It's related to inventory.
Yeah.
So how do you prepare for a build season with what you have on hand before kickoff?
Okay, so like one thing that we really do first is sit down and we organize all of the goals that we really have for the year. Maybe it will be to win an award. Maybe that we have a whole list of goals that we will have for the next year. We have a whole team discussion, whether they be robot goals, award goals, or whole team goals. We sit down and communicate, this is what we want to accomplish going forward. Really, we implement SMART goals in our Trello, and then really we start working more the business team to start communicating and constructing letters to our sponsors. Yeah, no problem. So financial, a team must plan for what businesses that they want to contact, not just say, oh, I think I'm going to go contact this business because it sounds cool. You need to sit down and communicate with your team. This is a business that I would like to contact. this is why, and this is why I think it would be beneficial for our team. Like, for an example, if you're thinking that you want Red Bull to sponsor you, does Red Bull have anything that really would fit with your team? Does it match the same goals that your team has with that company? An important step of this is also to intertwine with our sponsors is to create a fiscal budget for a year, which is seen right here. Once you're able to create a fiscal budget, you're able to create a mindset going forward of what you want to accomplish for your team and really where your money that you fundraise or get from sponsors is going to. So one important part that we have, that we implemented this year was that right here there are categories and subcategories that go into our budget. So there's a robot, there's tools, field and game pieces, competition, team food, marketing, strategy, safety, banquet, and then outreach categories for our team that goes into our budget. And then there's many different subcategories that is further broken down in our budget, that is listed over there. So it's a very extensive and long process, but it ultimately helps organize and see where the team's money is especially going. Where it's not just saying, there's this much money going to the robot, well, what is going into the robot? Is it motors, is it wheels, is it a new sensor? It really depends. It really depends and organizes and sets place where the money is going specifically for the robot. So we're not possibly buying an extra set of wheels that we know we actually had, and it's organized right here. Yeah. So I wanted to also ask, what is one of your team sponsors?
Blue Yonder is one.
Yeah. So do you know how you started contact with them?
Through a parent.
A parent? Yeah, that's an awesome way to do that. So, can you go back there? Can you go back?
Go back.
I meant to the, okay.
Back where? What?
To the, with the banner, the sponsor banner.
Sorry.
Thank you. So this is obviously all of our sponsors from this competition season. The sponsorship process that we start creating in the preseason allows for us to have sponsor representatives from our team and the business team, and allows us to communicate with all of these companies and more companies and see these are the sponsors that these are the businesses that ultimately chose to sponsor us for the competition season. So sponsors are obviously one of the biggest parts of an FRC team. They allow for you to continue the funding and just the growth of your team. To ensure that you acquire enough funding for your team season, you need to create a system or a program that really works specifically for your team. A way that our team really has improved financially because of the creation of our sponsor tracker. So right here is our sponsor tracker that we create at the beginning of each fiscal year. For us, that is September, and from here, we are able to have many different ways to stay organized with, this is how much sponsorship we have gotten, and there's many different tabs that allow for us to see the contact information, the student representatives, our plan going forward, and so here are some of the tabs that we have at the bottom. So obviously the dashboard is the main screen that you see right there. It's really the efficiency and then the total amount of sponsors that we've gotten. The contact tracker will be the next page, where it would be the business name, then it will be the account representative, which will likely be a member of the business team. It will be me, my marketing sub-lead, my finance sub-lead, or then my other two members. Then it has the master list, which is the business, all of the contact information, a way to reach out to them through a website, social media, maybe a phone number, and then their address, and then the student representatives, and then we have a thank you plan set in place each year for our sponsors, just to show our generosity for their sponsors. This one, the 2022 thank you tracker, is showing what we want to do this year and the goals that we have going forward. The New Year tab is if, obviously at the beginning of each fiscal year, you need to create a new sponsor tracker. So this tab explains to anyone what and how the steps needed to go and create one of these. And then there's a change log where it's any changes that you may make to the spreadsheet that would alter possibly any of the data going in there, the change would be made in there. Then from there, after the completion of the sponsor tracker, we gather more contact information. We start writing the sponsor letters. So right here we have templates. We either have a former sponsor, a returning sponsor, or a continuing sponsor letter that it basically says, my name is Alexis, I am from the Waquanaga Bears Team 930. This is what is first and how is it important to us. We have a personalized message, and then we say how we did competition season, and just really iterating on the fact on their sponsorship would be especially important to us if you would be able to help us out this year. We have many different templates that is all available for anyone to access in the Google Drive, and then we are able to personalize them based on the student representative. Like for me, I've been the business lead for 2 years now, and I'm able to say something along the lines of, I've been able to gain a lot of financial management skills from being in this position and being able to market and promote first allows for more people to be in the same shoes as I am. And then each member is also able to personalize their own message and then go and communicate with any of the possible sponsors for the next season. What are some tools used that you guys use to stay organized in general? Like you use Google Drive, Google Docs, or anything along the lines of that? I know Google Drive is one of the more popular ones.
Trello has
Yeah.
become our go-to.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. We've been implementing that a lot this year, as it allows for a lot of goal setting for any parts of the team, along with specific sub-teams. So staying organized in any aspect of the team is an important step for the development and just sustainability of your team and anything around you. So having a system such as Trello allows for all team members from whatever sub-team you're on to see this is what's happening today, this week, or maybe this month, and what tasks needed to accomplish to get to our overall goal. So for example, we will have maybe a social media post needs to be made for Thursday's meeting that we have. In the Trello board, we will make a card that says social media post. It will say what day that it is being done and what person is taking ownership. So maybe I'm taking ownership of the social media post saying, yeah, I'm going to make this post today for our MROC event that we have. And then at the end of the meeting, we have a small group discussion saying, at the last few minutes, saying that today I was able to complete that task. I made that social media post and you can go look at it right now. So having that Trello board really has the feeling of accountability and just really seeing how you're able to delegate tasks and time manage the time you have for a meeting. And then one other really popular thing that we have is the Google Drive, that we have. We have a business Google Drive where inside of it we have our apparel, our marketing, our outreach, obviously our finances, and any other important folders that we may have. Maybe I know a new goal that we have is important information, so every process that you would have, you would start creating a guide for. So I've created a QuickBooks guide for any new business member that maybe they've never seen QuickBooks before, but they want to learn how to fill out an expense online. So they will access that document in the business Google Drive. They will have a step-by-step process of how to fill out an expense report, and then from there they'll be able to learn how to use QuickBooks and also learn from the students and mentors around you. So in our finances, we have our budget, any forms that we would have, so the reimbursement tracker, the order form, we have any receipts that we would have, so it's all organized in one place, and then in any statements that we would have from our school. So just really having the importance of analyzing a fiscal budget. So the financial world can obviously be seen anywhere, and it shapes a team's future, no matter how big or small it may be. Analyzing your team's budget and proceeding with the proper goals and steps allows for you to show other members of the FRC community more about the image of your team. So obviously, your team at the beginning of the build season or before the competition season will set goals for your team, whether that be financially, for your sub-teams, or for your robot. You set goals of how you want to do going forward. And really just sitting down, establishing SMART goals, saying, this is how I want the team to progress going forward, really allows for the team to have a better mindset of a team mentality, saying we are all working together to accomplish this goal, and now these are the smaller goals that we have put in place to accomplish the overall goal. So maybe your goal is to win a regional. Obviously, you can't just show up and win a regional. You need to build a robot, you need to program a robot, you need to get funding. Those are just some of the basic steps that you need to have to ensure that you want to accomplish your goal. You need to use one thing that we really like using is the SMART goals. So we know that it's not an unrealistic goal, saying that there needs to be a certain time and place that the goal is obviously attainable. And if you're staying active and analyzing, hey, this is the goal that we set at the beginning of the season, where are we now? How do we proceed going forward? Maybe you are at a really good point of achieving that goal. How do you progress going forward, saying, okay, we're almost to that goal. What more can we do to ultimately accomplish that? And then having this mindset like that will shape a better future of your team, saying, we are a team, we have this goal of whatever we want to do. There are many different smaller goals that you need to accomplish before you get there, but working together and really communicating together to see, okay, well, I'm working on this goal, someone else is working on this goal, but they all intertwine in a way to get to one point. And having that establishment in your team will really impact the future of your team going forward, and it's just it allows for the engagement of other teams. Okay. Sorry. But yeah, just overall establishing just something that you know your team wants, and just want something to be accomplished. You just need to come together, work together, set any goals that you would like, and just progress going forward. And that's a really important part of it. So just for a recap, a financial process plays a substantial role in creating an FRC team. Multiple strategies go into making a proper rule. You can create and establish your team image. You can also keep your team organized, obviously, and you want to establish your team as a business. There's many financial processes that go into this, but if you're especially able to stay financially organized and implement a financial process within your team, will allow for the creation and future setting of goals to be much more efficient and progress much further for your future. So, thank you guys. And then if you guys had any questions,